Welcome to the Couple on Fire podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk all about family traditions, and that's coming up
right now.
Welcome. It is near and dear time of year for my wife's heart. If you've never joined us before, my name is Josh. I'm one of your hosts. I'm here with the beautiful Miss Kristy. She is another host on this here podcast, Couple on Fire. We call ourselves Couple on Fire because we're on fire for a lot of things. We're on fire for Jesus, on personal individual growth, marriage, and family. And that's the things that we like to talk about on this podcast, which is marriage, right? Technically, which is marriage. So, all right. So before we jump right into this podcast episode, what's on your mind? Trying to give you plenty of time to think.
I set up the Christmas decorations last night. Some like 50% of them. Yeah. So it's really starting to feel, and we had our first fire, and we have a fire going right now. So it's really starting to feel, we have snow. So it's really starting to feel like the Christmas season. I've been watching Christmas movies. So that's really what's on my mind. We went and saw Moana 2 with like 14 other people. So that was a lot of fun.
Was it really 14?
Yeah, there was 14 of us.
14? You had the exact number, man. I was thinking there was more than 14.
There ended up being more, but the whole row, that one row was 14.
Oh, wow.
Plus we had 4 more behind that.
Yeah, there was a lot. 18. Yeah, so she had us all stop
2 babies
on the way out of the movies to take a picture of it, and it was absolutely crazy. It looked like we brought the whole theater with us. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So as we dive into this holiday season, we know that whether you're a traditional family, a blended family, that family traditions are something that's very, very, very important, especially this time of year. I don't know if family traditions are such a big deal throughout the year more than they are for the Christmas season.
I agree with that. I
really feel like a lot of traditional things start coming out like this time of year. I say traditional, but traditions of families.
Yeah, because you might have some birthday things here and there, or even some Thanksgiving things. But around Christmas time, there's so many different things. Some families do like a cookie night. I know Jordan's in-laws do like a cinnamon roll night. And then they also do like a potato soup night or something like that. I don't know. They do all these different things. So there's all these different just weird traditions that some families do, but it just becomes a regular thing. It's fun to talk about.
But I also think, yes, it is. What I think that ends up happening, though, is as time goes on, the older that we get, your children might get a little older. They may move away, or you may have been a child, of course, right, up to a family, and that you moved away, or you have your own family now. And it's like traditions kind of transform into their own thing. It's almost like the telephone game, like where one person tells one person one thing, and as the time goes on, that thing changes and morphs into something new. And we've noticed in our own lives that our traditions have changed dramatically.
Yeah, this year we have another thing that's changing is we're not celebrating Christmas with our children actually on Christmas.
Yes.
We're celebrating it on a different day, so that, because a couple of our kids, one's married, one's pretty much married, and they have their own other in-laws and other families that they have to do as well. So we are celebrating Christmas with our core, us and our children and the grandbabies, on a completely separate day to make it more convenient for everybody else. So
which is opening up new traditions, right? And so we always kind of think along the lines of what can we do to make things easier on our children, not necessarily easier on ourselves. And I know that's a real struggle for a lot of people. Like, this is the traditions we've always done, and I want to hang on to this no matter what, especially if you're in a blended family. And I think it's really important as we go into this season, like, how can we make it easier on our children or better for our children? So today I was at church, and there's a family that we have a pastor. He's our children's pastor, and he was telling me, because his mom's on staff too, and I know his brother, and he's got 2 other brothers. And anyway, so he was telling me today that his brother and his other brother are going to be running in a marathon coming up in next May. And he was telling me that one of his other brothers, which is older than him, all this stuff's really irrelevant, but he lives out of state, right? But he's coming back home just to do things like that. And now I think it's going to start. He was kind of telling me it's like it's starting in this new type of tradition. And I feel like the older that we get, even when we move away, we still form new traditions within maybe our family unit in a new way.
I agree with that. And I think as parents, I think some parents try to hang on to these traditions that they had when their kids were younger. And then when their kids become adults and they get significant others of their own or friends, and things like that, they really try to still force this tradition to get everybody
Mm,
together.
yeah.
And I think it's important for us to be fluid and say
Flexible.
and
Yeah.
flexible and
Yeah.
just say, hey, we can do other things and have new memories, and they could turn out to be even better than the traditions that we had before. So I think it's good. It took me, I think 3 years ago about is when I got a good attitude about it, I would say. I was really trying to like force all the boys to still go get a Christmas tree and go to Bronner's, and I think this is gonna be
Yeah.
our 3rd year or our 4th year that we're doing a new tradition where we do it with just Jordan and Luke. Jordan is his daughter and her husband and the grandbaby, and we meet at Bronner's and we do our own little thing, and the boys don't have to come. Now this year,
Yeah.
my oldest son is coming with his girlfriend and her baby, so hopefully that can be something
Start a
new,
new
but
tradition.
I was, forcing it at first, and then I'm miserable because the last year that we did it, which it wasn't the first year, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I made them all go to Bronner's. I made them all go get a tree. And they're just like, Garrett walked in and the first ornament he saw, he's like, here, that's mine. And he wasn't kidding.
Which ruined the whole time for
Yeah.
you.
And he was like that when we went to get the Christmas tree. And I'm like, why am I forced? Like, I love Christmas. Why am I making Christmas miserable for myself?
Yeah.
Like, let's
Yeah.
do something that we all enjoy. And I don't want my kids to not look forward to seeing me and being around me on the holidays. So I think it's important.
Will you move those stairs for her, please?
Oh,
Our dog, we have a dog bed that's sitting next to our table right now, and I accidentally put her dog stairs on top of the bed, and she is sitting there staring at us like we are the most evil humans on the planet. But something that we did years ago, we kind of started was a brand new tradition. It's hard for me to let go of. Is we would do scavenger hunts for our kids,
oof,
and we would do a
I know.
scavenger hunt for each child, and it would be like 3 or 4 uh, clues that we would have, and it would lead to a one specific present, right? And it was hidden, and they had to go along and they had to figure this out. And it was something that Kristy and I would bond over. We would do every Christmas Eve. We would write down all the clues. We would do all of the things. We would just go through all of it, and it was something that we would do. Well, now that our kids are much older and our youngest is 20, we don't really have that tradition anymore. And it's like, so we have, yeah, and it's sad. And so we have to bury that tradition basically. And maybe that'll be something we'll be able to start up with the
Great.
grandkids when
Yeah.
they get a little bit older. I think it's something that we both agree we'll want to do.
Yeah.
That's something that's going to
Because
happen
I
at
even
our
said,
house.
last year was the first year we didn't do it.
I know.
And because
I
I
know.
asked all the kids, hey, do you guys really like doing this? And every single one of them answered the same. If you want to do it, you do it. I don't care if we do it or not, though. And I'm like, what?
Boo, I don't want to do it now.
So I even said it just out of habit. Like, we got Graydon a special gift. I don't want to say it in case he watches this, which I know he doesn't, but I don't want to put it out there. But it's in the basement, and I'm like, ooh, this will be his hidden gift. And then,
And it's not.
oh, yeah.
And we don't have that tradition anymore.
We'll have
So
to think of something else.
So we'll have to start thinking of something. That was my point leading into, like, we have these traditions that break our hearts that we don't want to give up because our children are getting older. And maybe you're in that season of fluctuation right now where you're like, okay, what do we do? Start a new tradition. Start
Yeah.
something new. It's okay. Especially if you're in a blended family, like you guys are going to have to create new traditions. We've had to create a ton of new traditions. As a child, we had always went and got a real tree, but we never went and cut it down, right? We went to a tree farm and just bought one, right? But we always decorated a real tree. And then as I got older, we always did a fake tree, right? And then Kristy was like, I think I want to start getting a real tree. And so then all the kids would go along, and it was fine in the beginning.
Yeah.
The older they got, that tradition changed, and so on and so forth. And so traditions are never supposed to be concrete. They are supposed to be somewhat fluid. If we want to understand that we're all growing and changing with age, and so is our children and our families and their families, we have to understand, how can we bring everybody back together? How can we create a tradition that's going to work for everybody? And
Well,
that's a hard attitude to have sometimes.
it is, but if we remember, what is the point of a tradition? The point of it is to get the whole family together and to create lasting memories that everyone will remember. So for us to hold on to a tradition that is going to ruin the goal, or maybe cause the memories to be
Yeah.
bitter or angry, we need to be open to, the point is for the family to get together and for us to have memories and look back on the holidays, and our grandkids to look back on the holidays, and our children to look back on the holidays
Yeah.
with a smile on their face and warmth in their heart, not, I was forced to do all of this stuff
Yeah.
and I hated it. So I think that is, if we remind ourselves what the end goal is, that's the point. I think we fall into traditions because we want to keep the interest and we want to keep, the responsibility and the obligation on people like this is a tradition. And that is the point. But once they've lost their luster, it's time to move on to something else. Like Christmas sweaters are my thing right now. So every year it started out with one Christmas sweater a year, and now it's kind of morphed into 3 or 4 different Christmas sweaters a year. And I mean, that's just going to be a tradition for me for right now. And maybe that could be a tradition for our kids as we get them all ugly sweaters. And on Christmas, we all wear them. Right now, I get us all Christmas socks. That's
Socks.
something new
Yep.
that we started like 4 or 5 years ago. I go out and purchase all these different Christmas socks. And then on that day that we
Yeah.
celebrate, everybody puts them on and we get a picture.
Nobody minds
So,
that.
no, no.
That's
So,
easy. That's an easy one. So she tried something early. You have to understand something. Out of 4 children, we have 1 girl, and she's much older than the rest. And then there's Kristy, right?
and now Garrett has a girlfriend.
And so Kristy, so Jordan was out way sooner than the rest of the boys,
Because
and
she's
so
6 years older.
yeah, and so Kristy was the last girl in the house, and so she tried baking in some traditions, right? Going to movies at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch
Yes.
Christmas movies
To see
in
Polar
the
Express.
theater, right? And so in the beginning, the kids were like, "Okay, we'll tolerate this to go see this movie," but then it got to where it's like, "Oh, I am mad. I do not want to go do this. I do not want to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning." On a Saturday to go watch a Christmas movie, and so it was really hard. And so trying to morph all these things to work with everybody can be difficult, and it is difficult. But the goal, like you said, really is like, okay, what can we do? How can we think outside the box to create brand new traditions on this stuff? I always ask every Christmas, I always ask everybody before Thanksgiving, what do you guys cook for Thanksgiving dinner? And it's funny when I'm up on stage at church, right? And so I ask everybody, and so, everybody has answered something weird, right? And so there's a lot of people that say lasagna and pasta, and it's like all these things. Ham's
Ham.
one of them. Like,
Yeah.
who eats ham on Thanksgiving? Who eats lasagna?
When do you eat ham, though? Easter, maybe?
No, I think you don't.
Oh.
No, you do. You do. No, Easter typically is the time to eat a ham, right? And so, but anyway, so it's like these traditions are different for everybody, and how can we morph that's going to work with everybody? Because maybe not everybody likes turkey, which is kind of they've never had a good turkey.
Yeah, your turkey is the best turkey.
Let's be honest with that. But let's understand that traditions are made to be changed, morphed, and work along to make the family come closer together, like you're saying.
Yeah. I got to think of some new traditions this year since we'll all get to celebrate it with our kids for an entire day. Like nobody has to rush to go anywhere
Yeah.
else, which actually is awesome. And so I'll have to think of something to do that day. Like if we get the projector out and just be projecting huge Christmas movies on the wall all day
Yeah.
long or whatever. I
The
don't know.
littles will love something like that.
Yeah.
They would love that.
Yeah.
Maybe a meal of some kind that we can all partake in and help with,
Yeah.
something like that. Everybody but Kristy, because she doesn't like to cook, but everybody else, right? But we can start doing things like that. Maybe making cookies or something fun and simple and easy that everybody can get along with.
Or like a little art project that us girls could do with the kids, with the littles.
Yeah.
And
And us boys could cook
Yeah. Like make
because I cook.
cotton candy or I don't know, do like a little art thing or something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and since you have everybody together, it's like, okay, what can we do for the future? What's going to work that's going to be more long-term or sustainable coming up, right? Like every year we always go to the orchard, right? Which is a very typical thing.
In the fall, yes.
In the fall time, right? Yeah, not in the winter time, right? We're not going there to get cider in December. But my point is we're always constantly trying to find new ways to make new traditions, especially this time of year. And something that we really want to do, that we try and encourage to do, is we want to go to the services that we have on Christmas Eve at our church, because we understand that the season is about Jesus.
We didn't at first.
I know we
because
didn't.
we had to have a whole tradition about that. And now that things have morphed,
Correct.
now we do it. Yeah.
Now we want to start this new tradition and say, hey, we really want to. And of course, we want to encourage our kids to do that, but not everybody's wants to do things like that. But, it's these traditions that we want to start and we want to try and keep.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No, this year, though, he doesn't know this. Jordan's birthday is on December 21st, which is also Stella's birthday, and she's going to be 3.
That's our dog.
Yep. But, yeah, it's not a grandbaby. It's our dog. But Jordan said that this year on her birthday, December 21st, it's a Saturday, her church is doing some kind of event or something, and her birthday request is that you and I go to that with her.
All right. That's
You
fun.
didn't know about that yet. I just told him live on air.
That's a tradition I'm apparently being included in. I didn't know it. I'm not putting my foot down. I'm not going. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Well, we pray that you guys have an awesome week. Something.
Tell us your traditions.
Yeah, I was going to say, and if you could, just leave us in the comments. Let us know what your traditions are or what your hope that maybe your future traditions will be within your family. Okay. This month, Kristy is going to wear a different Christmas sweater for every episode. So pay attention. Look forward to next week because she'll have a new one on. She's got her Grinchy on right now.
Yeah.
Nope, wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yay.
Grinchy. She got the Grinchy.
But
Yeah.
this year I'm excited because Christmas Eve is a Tuesday. So we're going to be posting our episode on Christmas Eve and we're going to do it all about Jesus and his birth
Yeah.
and that's what this season is about. So I'm looking forward to doing that one.
Yeah. So we thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you guys next Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Bye.